A very good morning, it's Fabio, and welcome to this daily market update where we discuss the major dollar pairs, potential trade opportunities, and of course the fundamentals as well. Now we're going to dive into EURUSD because euro dollar has been pushing in towards the downside in line with the overall daily fractal structure. Now I'm going to clean up my chart here for 1 second and give you guys the insights into my brain into what I'm currently looking at here on EU. So overall what happened is that we made a swipe of this daily liquidity high, right? So this was the overall impulse in towards the downside, and within the overall impulse in towards the downside, we have these little bumps in the road. Now every single time you can see that the market comes above that bump in the road, that is where liquidity is grabbed, and eventually you'll see somewhat of a push in towards the downside. So the overall confirmation of that downside push obviously came after breaking the daily fractal structure over here. So if we zoom into the individual candlesticks and we look at the individual candlesticks and their market structure, we can see here a high break, here a high break, and then here we had a low break. So the overall low, which is this low over here, which broke this previous high, that got broken. Therefore, we then have a valid market structure shift. This then becomes your fractal high, and somewhere down over here, we're expecting to create a new fractal low. Now, yesterday I mentioned that the overall supply here on the buy for the sell, that was currently in control, and that is currently also doing its thing by retracing in towards that daily supply zone and then pushing the market down lower. Now, there are two areas that I'm looking for EURUSD to potentially pull back to, and that is one, this liquidity low that we have over here. This is the last low before that overall clean push in towards downside. And the second low that I have my eyes open for is the overall 0.5 fib retracement level, which is also a key level of support and resistance here on the 0.5 fib, right guys? So that's the two areas that I'm looking for EURUSD to retrace in towards, and then I'll be looking for further upside from either one of them. Now, I'm also monitoring what the lower time frame is doing, being the 4 hour, because at any time my bias could shift, because overall EURUSD is still consolidating within an overall range, right? So what happened here is that we liquidated the overall range high at first, and now we're just pushing back down lower in towards the range low. So I'm looking for that range low to get swiped, and what could happen is that we then see a hard reversal back in towards the highs, which could provide us with potential long opportunities. Now, how do you know that we then would have potential long opportunities? Well, that is keeping an eye open on the current order flow. So the current order flow is just very simply said the overall momentum and the overall buy before the sell. So what we can see over here is we have a buy before the sell. We tap in over here and then we sell off in towards the downside once again. Here again, we have a buy before the sell that's currently in control, and then now we have this overall buy before the sell that is currently in control. We tap back into it and then we head back down lower again. So I'm just following this in towards the downside, in towards these two equal lows that we have over here. That is my immediate target for EURUSD, and then from there, if we then see an order flow shift, so we for example see a shift in the overall buy before the sells, right? So these buy before the sells and the market structure then shifts bullish, then I'll be keeping an eye open for potential buys once again, as we have then flipped bullish at a significant liquidity low, which then for me would be confirmation for further upside. So still some immediate further downside expected for EURUSD until we see that overall order flow shift happen, and then I'll be happy to look for those potential longs again, or not. Obviously, we could just continue looking for those shorts. Now, overall euro dollar is being moved in sync with the dollar index. We can see here that the dollar index order flow also remains bullish as of now. The overall sell before the buys are still in control here, pushing the market up higher in towards a new higher high once again. So for now, just following that overall order flow up higher as well. The overall immediate market structure is still bullish. No signs of any bearish reversals. Yesterday, I was interested, as this is obviously 75% of the overall range over here. So I was interested in looking for potential shorts from it. However, we needed to see an order flow shift happen, which we did not get. And therefore, we just continue to follow the overall market structure up higher. Looking here at the daily time frame, it is again very clear that this daily liquidity low over here caused a reversal in towards the highs, and I'm now just following that overall momentum up higher, following the overall again sell before the buy up higher. Okay, so this for now is our area of demand that is in control. You can see that we tap back into it and continue to push up higher. So I'll be keeping an eye open for the immediate market structure and the immediate order flow that we have here on the dollar. 0.5 fib is kind of like the immediate target for a dollar pullback, before then again looking for further downside. However, again, keep in mind a pullback or a continuation in towards downside could happen at any point in time. How do we then know that that is going to happen or not? We look at the 4-hour time frame, and then again, what do we want to see from the 4-hour? We want to see that order flow shift. So for example, here you have a 4-hour imbalance candle, which could act as a supply zone. Here you have a buy before the sell that could act as an imbalance or could act as a supply, and here again a buy before the sell as well that could act as supply. So all of these supply zones, and then which one to trade? Well, we just wait for the order flow to shift. So let's say we tap in towards that supply zone, then you just simply wait for the overall demand zones to break and for bearish order flow to be created, and then we'll just ride the wave all the way back down in towards those equal lows. Because for myself, the dollar is still bearish and I'm still looking for downside continuation, but it's obviously never strange that we retrace from these kind of like liquidity lows that we have over here. And for now, it is clear that the dollar is moving bullish. So let's just follow that in towards the highs or in towards those potential 4-hour supply zones. Now, going into AUDUSD, AU hasn't really moved too much. I am still very, very interested in looking for potential further upside until or once the dollar has found resistance. Overall here on AU, we have a key level of support and resistance. Going into the weekly time frame, again, not much has changed. What happened on the weekly is that we swept liquidity underneath this low over here, and then we saw a nice reversal in towards the highs. Now, for now, all you need to understand is that the weekly fractal structure is bullish from this black line to this black high over here, and that the sell before the buy is your area of demand, and anything inside that weekly demand zone that can push the market up higher. Now, going into the daily time frame, we can see that the daily is a little bit messy. It swept some lows over here in the form of liquidity, and I'm now looking again for a V-shaped reversal in towards the highs. But again, we're still very dependent on the upcoming news this week. For example, on Friday, we have PCE, Producer Price Index, and we're now looking, or we have PCE, sorry, that's not Producer Price Index, but we have PCE coming out. So keep an eye on that, or core PCE. So that will definitely be moving the markets overall. But what I am mainly focusing on at this point in time is still that upside continuation to happen. But what I need is the 4-hour to start shifting, because you can see how slow the 4-hour is. Obviously, it's sitting at a level where in the past also price action has been very, very slow. So let's just wait for more confirmation, and more confirmation should come in the form of a market structure shift. And for now, that is a break of this 4-hour fractal high. So this is now your 4-hour fractal structure, that high and this low. And if you are looking for a long position, wait for that high to go. This then becomes your demand zone, and then we can look for that further upside on AUDUSD. Okay, that's all we need in on AU for now, and for the rest, it's looking very good, forming a key level of support here. Also on the higher time frame, it's very, very clear to me that this is a nice level for AU to rebound from, and that is still holds my interest. Going into GBPUSD next, we can see that GU is a little bit more similar to EU. Overall, we are inside a weekly area of supply here. So this is your weekly imbalance candle, and we have a weekly liquidity high. We take out the liquidity high, we tap into supply, and then what you want to see that lower time frame trend shift happen. So if we now look here at the lower time frame, what can we see? Well, nothing much has changed since yesterday. Fractal high break here, and then what do we have here is a fractal low break. What we have here is then a supply zone, and that supply zone is now in control. We tapped into that supply zone and are now pushing down lower. So for now, on the immediate bias, yes, shorts are interesting, I would keep an eye open for those potential shorts. We have this kind of like 4-hour supply zone. However, it failed to break the 4-hour fractal low. The 4-hour fractal low is still not broken, so we are ultimately still bullish. That's very important to understand. I'm only looking for shorts once that 4-hour fractal low goes, and then I'll be more interested in for the downside. Otherwise, we could just rebound up higher once again, with the dollar index also still being at a risky level, right? So the dollar is still at this kind of like liquidity high over here, and we could still just kind of like reverse back in towards the downside. Not saying that it's going to happen, but it is still a risk. Therefore, wait for GBPUSD to break that overall 4-hour fractal low. Get that certainty in before diving into those short opportunities, getting your stop loss hit for no reason, because it could just push up higher once again. Okay, so keep an eye on that 4-hour fractal low and keep trading mechanical. Going into NZDUSD, we can see that NU itself is still slow, very similar to AU. I am also very interested in looking for a further long position. However, we need the overall market structure to shift. Yes, we are inside a daily area of demand, but on the 4-hour time frame, the overall momentum is still in towards the downside. We are squeezing, guys. We are squeezing. So you can see a lot of bearish momentum, strong bearish momentum, and now that we've come back in towards this range, you can see that the market is just descending, corrective, and squeezing. So I am expecting somewhat of an upside move very, very soon, but we need to see the 4-hour fractal structure shift for now. Looking at the immediate 4-hour fractal structure, we can see here that we had a low break. This then became your fractal high. Here we had a low break. This then becomes your fractal high. So for now, the overall bearish fractal range is in between this high over here and this low. And I'm now very simply said waiting for a breakout of this squeezing price action. Break above, this then becomes your demand zone, and then we will buy NZDUSD further in towards the highs, in line with the weekly fractal structure, because the weekly fractal structure is bullish. Just for your knowledge, the overall sell for the buy here is in control. This black line is your fractal low, this black line is your fractal high, and overall, if you would look at a 0.5 fib, you can see that we've retraced exactly into the 0.5 fib, and therefore I am very, very interested in looking for further upside on NU, and the only thing that rests is waiting for that 4-hour confirmation after breaking this high over here. Going into USDJPY next, we can see that UJ pushed up higher. For now, the daily order flow is now bullish. What I want you to understand is that this is now demand that is in control. A lot of you were looking for shorts as of yesterday, again from this buy before the sell supply zone over here. Remember what I mentioned, okay, there is no liquidity in the push down, therefore it was likely that this initial high would be swept. Initial high got swept, then you're looking for shorts from here. Then you go into the 1-hour time frame, and as you can probably remember, I was waiting for a sweep of the high. This then becomes your fractal low, and then we look for shorts, or we needed to wait until we broke this low all the way down here, but that was way too far away. But for now, you can just very simply see that, yeah, the overall bullish momentum remained in control. There was no bearish momentum at all, so you should not have burnt your hands on this shorts over here. Looking overall for the rest on the 4-hour and the daily, I would focus mainly on the daily and just focus on trading the daily order flow up higher. For now, this is demand that is in control. So if we tap in towards there, look for the upside. Obviously, it doesn't need to retrace in towards there, but that is ideally the longs that you want to be taking. So overall, just looking for further upside still, and yeah, looking for that further upside on UJ. Going into gold, last of all, gold has been pushing down lower a bit. Looking here at the 4-hour, we can see that supply zone, which we talked about, has eventually worked out. So for now, 4-hour supply in control. Now again, 4-hour imbalances here in control. And yeah, these should push the market down lower once again, kind of like back into this area of consolidation, take out these equal lows, and then maybe at some point in time we'll be looking for longs again. But the immediate flow of price is still bearish, so I would not be looking for any longs as of yet until we really see some kind of like liquidation event and then a V-shaped reversal, and then look for longs again. Until then, I would really focus purely on shorts. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Wish you all a fantastic trading day. This afternoon we're going live on YouTube. We have an amazing fundamental session prepared for you guys, an entire presentation and much more. So make sure to be there, and see you soon.